Boom, brother, we're rolling. I appreciate you coming on, Berk.
Oh yeah, no problem. Glad to be here, man. It's good to see you.
How's it been?
Hey, it's been good, man. It's been working. I feel like I haven't seen you since. Oh, would that be 2012?
Yeah, dog,
13?
we're over a decade, man.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Man. It's been a minute. I haven't really been back up to school. I can count on one hand how many times I've been up there since I graduated.
Yeah, no, me too. I the only time I go by is just to chop it up with AT and see him.
Yeah. I've definitely seen him a few times. I've seen Joe a few times too.
Yeah, he's
So.
killing it. You've been following him a little bit?
Yeah, so I've seen. I go up there. I know they usually have like alumni. They
Yep.
have alumni dinners and stuff. So I'll go up there. But yeah, I've seen him a few times. And he's gotten big, but he's definitely getting some playing time too. It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see where he was when we were there.
He's a little kid,
To-
bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
into now he's amazing grown man just about.
For real. Yeah, I think he's like last time I talked to AT, he said he was like 190, runs like 4.4. I mean, he can go.
Yeah, man, he is big. They know what they're doing up there as a strength and conditioning program up in Michigan.
Absolutely.
So yeah, he's swole. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to get into all that, but before, man, like, so people that don't know, this is Berkley Edwards. We used to play some high school football together. We played 1 or 2 years together. Two had to been
You graduated when 11,
12.
12? Yeah. So I graduated in 13. So we
Copy
was
that.
3 years.
Yup, yup.
Yeah, 3 years.
So one thing that always stuck out to me, man, when we were like just training and playing and being around each other all the time is you're relatively quiet, at least back then. Have you always been about that? Like just going about your business, minding it, and just head down working? Because that was the
Uh,
vibe I got from you, especially being a younger guy back then, and I always respected that.
yeah. So growing up, I actually was real talkative. I used to get in trouble all the time for talking a lot in school. Um, So no, I used to talk a lot, and then once I had got out to Chelsea, I didn't know anybody out there other than Nick Hill, and then Gabby Trevelini. She was the other person I knew just because our dads had a relationship, before I got there, and so those were the only two people I knew. So it was, I was going into a place where I didn't know anybody. So I was just all right. Well, I guess I'm gonna just be quiet. I didn't, just be quiet, stay to myself. I always and like I said, I always been about work. So whatever I would do, whether it's school, even though I didn't like school that much, whether it was school, sports, especially, I was always been about work. So that always came first, and I always took that very serious. So throughout high school was quiet. College, started to talk to some people to some more. So when I first got to college, it was crazy. I tell people I had a southern roommate. He was from Georgia. Um, and so, he was real talkative. He's like, yeah, man, it's good to, finally meet you. I got my stuff here. You can put your stuff wherever. I bought us some lemonade too and all this. And I'm like, us? Bought us some lemonade? I'm like, bro, I don't even know you. You're talking about us. Like, bro, I just got here. I know we here to play football, bro, but I don't even know you like that. So, learning to embrace, his Southern hospitality,
Yup.
and just learning to communicate and, not always have to be to yourself. So, going through college, learning how to talk to people. And then now, I'm back to where I was, um, when I was younger. Being
Yeah.
able to talk to people, especially now because I'm entrepreneur, which we can get into now. But
We will.
in
We
the
will.
world of, yeah, which in the world of business, you got to be able to talk to people. And so now, yeah, I can talk to anybody that I want to.
Facts. That's good shit, man. No, I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of the guys would be like, "Man, what's Berk's deal?" I was like, "I don't think anything, man. I think that's just him. I think he's just ducked off doing his thing. Like when
Yeah,
Friday comes, he'll be ready. Don't worry about
yeah,
that." And obviously, you always, obviously, you always were. But
yeah.
let's kick it back though, man. Like I'm sure you get this all the time. Like that Edwards name is pretty rich in history, especially around where we're from. Did you feel any type of pressure growing up, or was it just like you knew no different and you just trained and under your dad and your brother and shit like that, or did you feel any pressure growing up, or was it just, hey, I have some good mentors and we just keep working?
Yeah, so I really didn't understand the magnitude of what was going on. And I think it was just because I was so close to it, right? And
Yep.
so there was always just a certain standard, and that's just what I knew, right? So again, like I said, I didn't know the magnitude, so it was always like, what we talked about before. I just was, head down and working. So as I got older, I started to understand. I was like, oh shit, like they were doing, dad and brother, and I got other family members that a lot of people don't even know, right? I have an uncle that graduated from the University of Michigan, right? Walked on, earned a scholarship, and he was a captain as well. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I mean, it's just stuff like that that people don't even know. Um, so I not until I guess later on as I got older, it was more pressure, but it was more pressure on me myself that I was putting on myself. They weren't, nobody in my family was putting pressure on me. It was more on myself just to be great, right? It's to be great and always push myself to be the best version of me that I can be. And again, you always have fun competitiveness in the household, right?
Sure.
You always want to do better than, your was your siblings or anybody that's in your family. You always want to be the best, so you can sit at the dinner table or sit at a Thanksgiving dinner table or a holidays and say, hey, well, I did this and you didn't do that. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. So now it was more pressure that I was putting on myself versus anybody else putting any pressure on me.
That's good though too, man. That just shows that you care. Like
Yeah,
you care about your name, you care about your personal gain as well too. Like you don't want to go out there and embarrass yourself, let alone
yeah,
your family. So like you know how it is if you're not putting forth that work in whatever it is and you show up on game day or test day or whatever it might be, feeling underprepared, very lucky or very not very often do we get lucky
yeah,
without the
yeah.
work beforehand. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, first off, you definitely that's one, and then 1A, you don't want to embarrass the people that support you or the people that um you know have that last name as well. So yeah, you always want to come prepared, come to work, um, be ready this time.
facts. Could you I think you covered up your speaker a little bit on your laptop or phone.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There you go. You're perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you're perfect. Can you touch on a little bit about the relationship with Nick? I know you said that he was one of the guys that you knew when you got to town. What was
hmm
that like, man? Was he like a big brother to you?
Yeah. So I've been knowing Nick, I think since he was 14. Um, so I'm not sure how his dad and my dad got connected. I was probably through track. So my dad, little short backstory. My dad has an AAU track team that he's been running since '95.
Wow.
So he started with my older brother, and then you know I went through it, and my little brother went through it as well. Um, and so I think that's just how him and my dad got connected. And then Nick was on the team. I would talk to Nick a little bit, but we both had our friend groups on the team. But you automatically gravitate towards somebody who if you're going to an area that's not familiar to you. So throughout the process of picking the schools that I wanted to go to for high school, Nick was like one of it was like a you do when you go on visits. They give you those oh my God, what is the name? I can't think of a lot host. You know what I mean? So he was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a host. I remember coming up a Friday night to Chelsea. He was like a host to me, but we were always texting too. He's like, "Hey man, you gonna come up here? You gonna come up here?" He stayed on me about coming up there. So once I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna end up going to Chelsea," which I did. And then just being there the first year, he was able to drive me around, introduce me to coaches, introduce me to other people, around the school. And so he was like, hey, he's the next one up. He's the next one after me. And then even after he left too, I remember he came back to some of the games, talked to me, giving me pep talks, like, hey, what do you see out there? Helping me out with a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, he was definitely like a big brother and, somewhat of a mentor to me too. And then even after high school, we would talk throughout college.
Hmm.
Um, say, hey, what you doing this week? How is 2 days for you? This is what we got going on over here. I remember playing Call of Duty with him and Le'Veon. What I mean? So it's just, yeah, we just had fun. But yeah, he's definitely a big brother, definite mentor. We always share stories in similar situations, and ways that we could help each other. And then now I forgot about this. I was best man in his wedding too.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was one of the best men in his wedding. So yeah, we're real close.
I want it to be known for people listening that when Berkeley's talking about, hey, when you go on visits and you're getting recruited and you know you got a host, I'm sitting here like shaking my head, yes, when I went on like one visit, so I don't really know how all that plays out when you're going to school, when you're getting recruited to go to big colleges. But talk to me about that, man. When did you get your first letter, and like when did this become a thing where you're like, fuck, man, like if I play good enough, I might go to a decent school and follow my dad and Braylon and all that other stuff. When did that become real
Yes.
for you?
So I think I remember. Um, I want to say my sophomore year that I think letters started coming in. Um, And so I remember freshman year I played JV. I remember being on JV, and it's because I wasn't learning plays. I was playing games. And, they wanted me to have a wing player, and I didn't. I'm like, look, I just like run the ball, and Coach Bush wanted me to not run the ball. He wanted me to know the blocking and the routes too. I'm like, yeah, this way too much. So put me down on JV. And was like, look, man, we eventually was gonna move you to this spot anyway. But we'll just let you go to fullback. I mean, yeah, we'll let you go to the main running back on JV. Get those carries, and then you can come back up to varsity on your sophomore year. So sophomore year comes, splitting time with I think it's Joey Newland. I think that's his name.
Yeah, that sounds
Uh,
right.
yeah, yeah. So splitting time with him, but I'm starting to get some letters in. Um, and so I'm looking, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm getting letters. You know what I mean? Like this is what
Yeah,
people
yeah.
have talked about, right? Things, letters start coming in, you start thinking about what school you're gonna go to. You start having little contact with some coaches, maybe if it's, at a camp or something like that. Because 7-on-7, so they had the what did they had? Like the Rising Stars, and a couple other 7-on-7. So 7-on-7 was becoming larger. It's not what it is today. So what it is today is pretty much spring football now.
Yep.
Football coaches want you year round now. They want you only doing football. They don't want you playing any other sport. They only want you doing football. So it wasn't as big as it was then, but you could still do 7-on-7. So you'll get some coaches to come to 7-on-7s, and you'll do those type of things. And like I said, you'll be able to talk to coaches and everything. But I honestly, I don't remember I think my first offer was I think it was Bowling Green, Toledo. I don't, it wasn't Western. I think it was either Bowling Green or Toledo. And I remember getting that first offer. I said, oh shoot, now stuff is starting to get real, right? Even though that, just to get that first offer, and now it gives you a satisfaction of, this work that I've been putting in is
They're
is
seeing
is
it.
starting. Yeah. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So it took a lot of pressure off my shoulders just to get that, just to get that first offer, because now it's like, okay, cool. I can go to school for free. You know what I
Facts.
mean? I'm able to
Hmm.
go to school for free and be able to further um my goals, going to play football after high school. So yeah, it was, I think my junior year is when I got that first offer. Again, still continuing to put in that work in, going to camps, I went to Alabama. I went to Alabama. I think my junior year, I went to the Alabama camp. I went to the LSU camp. Went to Michigan camp. Like I went to a few of those different camps, and again, being able to see these different guys now, like I think my dad was telling me, I didn't know at the time because I didn't care. I was like, I feel like I'm the best person here. But I think when I went to the Alabama camp, I think Alvin Kamara was there. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's him, and it was probably some other guys there too that I just didn't even notice or
Hmm.
know at
I'm
the
sure there
time.
was.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like, it was guys like that was there, being able to compete with those guys. But yeah, junior year was that time where I said, okay, cool, this stuff is real. But if I continue this course of, putting this work in and keeping my head down and driving, we can further not just to Toledo offer, but now we can start getting other offers. So other offers started coming in. Coaches started visiting schools. I remember, I remember, it got to a point where I was in class and somebody would call me down from the office, and everybody like, oh yeah, yep, it's another coach here. Like, Berkeley's getting another visit. So Yeah, it started to get, like I said, it started to get real. And then after a certain point, I think I got my first. I think Iowa was the first big school that offered me. And then after that, I had got a couple more after that. But after that, I said, okay, cool, because I wanted to at least go Big Ten, or one of the Power Five conferences. So once I got that offer, I said, okay, cool. Now that again, now another so a level two of weight coming off my shoulders. Now I just continue to do what I can do, um, and then make my decision when I wanna do that.
I remember when you were going to all the camps. I remember you posted on IG. I think you did go to the Michigan camp. Did you go to the Michigan State camp?
Oh shoot, yeah, I did. I went there too.
Yeah, I
I
remember. I
remember
remember a
'cause
couple pictures you were posting.
yeah, I remember talking to actually D'Antonio for a quick second, and he was telling me, he's like, if we're going to offer you, you're going to have to be like a Nick type guy, right? You're going to have to be able to play running back, return punts and kicks as well. You're not just going to be able to play running back. So I do remember that too. Yeah,
And you decided on Minnesota, correct?
correct.
And then from there we went to Central, and then to U of
Yeah,
M, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
So
play some. You
yeah,
play some football, man. I got notes here just because we haven't talked in so long.
yeah.
But I randomly thought, who's the best player you ever played with? Like pound for pound, could be an O lineman, brother. I don't know, but like this might take you a minute because you played with some guys I know.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, could you give me like your top
Mm,
three? I'm just curious.
top three. Okay, top three guys. I can give you top three. David Cobb. So he was running back ahead of me. Um, that I was at Minnesota. So I'll give you a little story about this. And this is I know when people hear about this, they're like, man, damn, this is crazy. So David Cobb, I came in. I was the highest recruit coming in for my class, and I was the only running back that they offered that year. Um, and so I remember going up, coming in. Uh, and they're looking at me, like I said, I'm highly recruited, and I'm playing. We get to camp, and I'm taking older reps, and I'm taking young guys reps too. So I got the older reps, and I got to go down to the young guys, and then I'm taking all of those reps because it wasn't no other running back there. So I remember they like, hey, this guy's, is fast, he's electric, like he's going to play. So David Cobb, I'm gonna get to David. David was, I think, the number three running back on the depth chart. Um, and ahead of him was Donnell Kirkwood, who was the guy, and then Roderick Williams, who was a year ahead of me. Dude, I mean, he just was running. He was 250 pounds. He was just running guys over. But he had a little bit of feet too, but he was just running guys over. And then it was David Cobb and then me, but we would have been switching off. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna play, and then David was kind of gonna be in the background a little bit. He may come in, he may not. So at the time, I think this was 2013, 14. He didn't play 15, so I think he was a junior at the time. So a week before the first game, uh, we're not hitting, right? We're
Hmm.
not hitting at that point. So I go through camp, I'm doing my thing. Uh, the QB throws me a screen. He throws it high, and so I couldn't get to it, but I tipped it. But I tipped it to the point where I was like, okay, cool. I tipped it to myself, so I went to turn around, and I was gonna catch the ball, and there was a backer. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but he ended up hitting me, and my leg. He landed on my leg. He was like 235. He was 235. Landed on my leg. My leg got stuck in the ground, and my knee bent in, so I couldn't move. And so I remember that shit. I remember that happened, and I got
You
up. I was able
you
to.
you
Yeah.
can curse on here, dog.
You said I
You,
can?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My bad. My bad. So
You're
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So I remember, I was down on the ground for a little bit, and my knee, it was hurting, like my leg and my knee was hurting real bad. But I was able to get up, put a little bit of pressure on it, and walk off into the tent. And the trainers were looking at me. And so, long story short, I ended up getting a high, low ankle sprain, and then a sprained MCL too, all on the same leg. So this is a week before the first game now. So now it's Donnell Kirkwood, the starter, Roger Williams, and then David Cobb. First game comes, Donnell Kirkwood gets hurt. He ended up like messing his ankle up too, and so now we're down to two running backs. Uh, Roger Williams and David Cobb. Well, David Cobb ends up playing. I they were gonna play me. We played Michigan that year. They were gonna play me. We came to Michigan. They were gonna play me the sixth game of the season. They said, "Look, we're not gonna be selfish. We're not gonna waste your red shirt. So we'll just red shirt you."
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't play me. So I sat out the season. Well, long story short, David Cobb ends up taking off, and then he ends up becoming the number 6 running back in the nation. You know what I mean? So it's crazy because
He
he
just
would have
needed
never
a
got the
chance,
job.
dude. He just needed a
Yeah,
shot. Yep.
yeah, and he would have never got that shot. I won't say he would have never got that shot, but it wouldn't have been to that extent had I not got hurt and had not Donnell
Mm-hmm.
got hurt. So it's crazy what can happen on the flip of a coin. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And now your time is up, and then now you become the number 6 running back in the nation. And so they just had that sitting in the hole, and he wouldn't have been playing. But so I did all that. I said all that to say that he was probably one of the best players that I played against. So David Cobb, oh God, I'll give you the top four.
All right. All right. I like
So
this.
yeah, yeah, there was some other guys too. Rasheed Hegman he was on Minnesota as well. He was a D lineman. Um, 6'5", 315 with a 36-inch vertical. Hey, I'm a freshman, right? Hey, yeah, yeah. So I'm a freshman, right? I'm in film just watching, and I'm watching him just take guys with one hand, boom, and moving them out the way. He was unblockable. It was ridiculous. So he was another one. Um, let's see. The player that I played with at Central was Corey Willis. He was
Okay.
a receiver. Yeah, he was a receiver. QB turn receiver. I don't know if you remember, but we played Oklahoma State, and we had that last second touchdown against Oklahoma State. And he was the guy who caught the pass. They did like a hook and ladder, and they tossed it back to him, and he ended up reversing field and taking it. But he was real nice. He was probably the best receiver I played with. And then the last guy would be um uh, uh, who would be the last guy? Jesus, I played with Aiden, and Aiden was a freshman at the time. I played with Rashawn Gary.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
come on, who would be? Who was the backer? I can't. I had his name in my head. I can't think of his name right now. But the backer, um, at Michigan, because then he went to the Steelers.
Oh gosh, I should know that.
Come on, Devin Bush.
Devin
Devin
Bush.
Bush.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Devin Bush.
He was an animal.
Hey, Devin
Yeah.
Bush was different. So yeah, Devin
Yeah.
Bush was that other guy that I played against. Always around the ball. He could never not find him around the ball. So yeah, Devin Bush was another. And he wasn't that big. He just was always around the ball.
I remember when he was going crazy before the Michigan State game, tearing up the field.
Yeah, yeah,
Were you
yeah.
on that team?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
because he's cool, but you get on his bad side, it's gonna be bad for you. But
Those are the kind of
yeah,
guys I want to play with, though. Those are the kind of guys I want on my team.
yeah. He always gonna compete. He's gonna play hard. It was fun in practice with him because see, it's funny. He could guard like he was a good cover backer too. So I remember watching him. I was visiting them in the spring. So I joined them in the fall of 2008 or summer of 2018 going into the fall. So I wasn't there in the spring. And so I was watching them in the spring and I'm like, who the hell is this linebacker covering all these running backs? I'm like, bro, you're not supposed to be, linebackers
Yeah,
aren't supposed
right.
to do that.
No, no, no.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. So then I remember coming in, my dad was telling me about him and everything. Now, I said, okay, it makes sense. He couldn't guard me though, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? He couldn't stick me or he couldn't guard me because I would, but we would always laugh. He's like, man, I'm on you, I'm on you, I'm on you. I'm like, bro, you're not on me. You're not on me. But yeah, those are the type of guys that you want to have around, man, because they're always going to push you to your limit too. So yeah, those are the four people. I mean, and again, like I said, I played with Aiden. I played with Rashawn Gary. I played with a few other guys too, but I would say those four guys are probably the best people that I played with.
No Manziel, didn't you mess around with him for a little while?
Who?
Johnny?
Oh, you said Manziel?
Yeah. Were you all on
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
team?
yeah. So, I played in a indoor league for a quick second.
Yep.
Um,
I
yeah,
remember watching.
yeah, yeah. So it was the fan control football league they had started. And it's not even a thing anymore. It's because what I heard was the owners got greedy and they were trying to do a bunch of different sports instead of just sticking to their, the core football. Because there were a lot
Right.
of people that were hitting me up after the season was over, and they were like, "Yo, I'm trying to get into that league. You got Johnny Manziel, you got NFL players,
Flash Gordon.
yeah, yeah, like you got ex NFL players coming down there to try to get back into the league, stuff like that." So there was guys hitting me up. So yeah, I did play with Johnny, but he honestly, Johnny was just there to big up the brand and the league.
Yup.
He came to practice a few times, but he was chilling. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I
it
already
was.
knew. I already knew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he was just there for a name and face. He like I said, he came to practice a couple times. We talked a quick second. He threw me the ball a few times, and then I played with him in the games. But yeah, he wasn't there to really take it too serious.
Yeah, yeah, I figured
Uh,
as much.
uh.
When you went to Michigan, was that for grad school, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was grassroots. So I just did one semester there.
Yeah. Was that kind of a dream of yours? Like, did you always want to get there at some point in time?
Yeah, so you know, coming out of high school, that's where I really wanted to go.
Right.
Um, Looking back on it, it's the way my journey went is probably I I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think going there could have been good for me, but I don't think I would have learned as much as I did going to my journey that I went through the way I did. So going to Michigan straight out of high school, I would have went, but I don't know if there were coaches there that could have taught me, the way that I needed to be taught.
Yeah.
Because coming out of high school, man, I was a raw running back. I was really a track runner playing football. So
Yeah.
going to these different places and being able to study, the David Cobbs, like I just told you, and these
Yep.
other guys, I was able to take from their game, add different stuff and then, add it to my game. And so ended up at Michigan. Yes, I did want to go there out of high school, but looking back on it, I think, the route that I went, I was able to become the best version of myself, being able to learn from different people. So yeah, getting to Michigan in 18, I think I was the oldest guy on the team. At
Yeah.
that point, I was on my 6th year in college.
Yep.
There was no transfer portal when I was in college, or and if it was it just had started. So when you would transfer from a school, you would have to sit out a year. So when I transferred to Central, uh, they had said I had to sit out a year. But what happens is they granted me that year back on the back end. So
Oh.
yeah, yeah. So they granted me that year back on the back end. So that's how I was able to do that grad year at Michigan. So when I got to Central, um, wrong place, wrong time. But I got to Central, couldn't play. So I was on scout team all year. I was having fun with that because I was busting their ass. I was busting everybody ass in practice. And then what happens is you get like a bunch of staff changes because we did good, right? Like I don't know if you know who Tyler Conklin is, but Tyler Conklin, I played with him. He plays for the Jets now. And we had a few more people. Joey Osman, who I think is still with the Eagles. And we had a couple other people that I played with as well. And so when you have a good season, guys do well to go to the league, and then coaches move up too. So there were coaches that had left the program that wasn't there when I first got in. That had recruited me to come there.
Right.
So now we get coaches from that nowhere that don't know what the hell they're doing. So played a little bit, but then I could see what it's crazy, but I could see where the program was going, and I said, "Yo, I got to get out of here. Like this
Yeah.
just isn't going to work." I mean, guys were cussing out coaches, guys weren't listening. I'm like, "Yeah, this ain't the place for me. I got to go." So the year that I left, 2018, from Central to go to Michigan, Central won one game that year. They won one game, so I said, "Yeah, I got out at the right time." So yeah, got went to Michigan, oldest guy on the team, but again, I was there just to work. I whatever my role was at Michigan, I was there to accept it. I had fun competing in practice again with these top guys. Got better. Guys were like, man, god damn, like, yeah, you pretty good. I say, yeah, I know. But it's just my route is just a little different. But yeah, I got to compete. I got some playing time there. Starting off kick returner starting off kick returner. I played a little bit at on kickoff, and then I got a few carries throughout the season too, and a couple catches as well. So yeah.
You grew up running track. What events did you run on the track?
100, 200, 4x1, and then the 4x4 relay as well. Occasional, and no, not even occasional, rarely, but I ran the open 400. But yeah, I was usually just 100, 200, 4x1, and a 4x4.
Yeah, you're the hands down the fastest dude I've ever played with or played against. What's your best 40? Something dumb.
It's 4.2. I was like 4.26 or something like that. 4.28, yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Good
was, I
night.
mean, so yeah, that was my number one sport. The first sport I tried was soccer, but what I really gravitated towards was track. And a reason was that because of my dad. I mentioned earlier, my dad had the,
Hmm.
the the AAU team. So when I was younger, I just used to be out there with the older kids just running around. They would be doing lunges or running, doing stuff like that. So I would just be out there with them. So I think as soon as I could run, I was running. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I started competing at 6 with AAU, and you usually start the age group that they have at AAU is 8. So I was competing against older people, as when I was 6. And then I did it from 6 all the way up to 8. Well, 18 was AAU. It's 8 to 18, and then I actually ran track in college too. So that was
No
like
shit.
my
Did you really?
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah. So that was track was my first love. So that was I took that very, very. I mean, I took everything. Like I said, I took everything serious. But like track was very personal, and especially, and I think it's more personal because it's an individual event. So you don't have nothing else to worry. It's just you and your lane. So
Yup.
if you get out there and get cooked, now you mad at yourself. So now you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on. You can't blame anybody else, right? You like, oh man, I had 10 other guys that I had to worry about. This guy didn't get that block or nothing. No, no, no. It's just you. It's just you in that lane. So yeah, track was my number one sport, but it also helped me get recruited. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not the biggest guy, right? So um, it helped me get recruited by people. They're like, oh yeah, he has world class speed. And I got shit. I think I still got the records at Chelsea.
I don't know how you don't.
Yeah, yeah, the 100 and 200. Yeah, I still got the records there. So yeah, that I really started coming on the scene. Like my junior and then my senior year, I just went stupid. But that was the hardest work year I've ever been through as far as track work. Like I put work, like the work that I put in, it was honestly, bro, it was abuse. I'm not gonna lie to you, but that just is what I had to do to be able to get where I wanted to get. And
Mm-hmm.
it led to me, like I said, being able to get school records and shit, being one of the fastest people that ever come to the state. So
You brought this up earlier, man, with football, but you were saying how they only want you to play football, only football. And I feel like that's kind of a hot topic now. And it
mm,
even was back when we were in school because, all I wanted to do was just focus on baseball and this, that, and the other. But it's like, no, man, you should go play hockey. You should go play football. That's going to make you a better baseball player. Now,
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably aren't half the football player that you turned out to be without track. Like if you would have never ran track,
Oh,
them feet would have never been what they were on the football field. Correct?
man, yeah, correct, correct. So I don't. You get a lot of coaches. Even when it started to be. They want you to get big. They want you to lift weights.
You're good. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're good, brother.
Okay, my bad. I had a call coming in, but yeah, people were saying, they want you to lift weights. They want you to get big for football, all this other stuff. But what I try to tell people is the best athlete. Who do we consider to be the best athletes? Right? Jordan, Deion Sanders, LeBron James,
Bo,
uh, yeah, Bo Jackson. Right? What do they all have in common?
good
They
feet,
play
brother.
multiple. Yeah, they play multiple sports.
Yep.
They play multiple sports. So
Mm-hmm.
when you hear coaches say this type of stuff, and then it just doesn't translate over to the kids that they coach. They say, "Oh no, that's cool," but and usually what they say is, "Well, you're not those guys, right?" But that doesn't even matter. It's the fact that you can have better athletes if you let them do multiple sports. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you got to do multiple sports. A lot of good football players play basketball,
Yep.
and they have they have great feet. So people should play multiple sports. Like people should always play multiple sports, and I think that makes you. No, I don't think I know that makes you a better athlete.
Yeah.
And even
I know
today,
that too.
yeah, yeah. So even today, um, like you were talking about, yeah, people just want to play, 7-on-7, 7-on-7, and you see for people a lot of success early on, but then they usually burn out. And that's because they're doing the same thing over and over. I mean, I know about with people that play baseball, right? You got
Hmm.
these guys that's traveling like crazy. And then they getting Tommy John surgery at an early age, right? Because
Oh
they're
yeah.
pitching, they're pitching all day, every day. So, and it's just crazy. They have, like I said, they have a lot of success early on, or they may not because they're hurt. They're hurt all
Yep.
the time and they don't give their body a rest. So I think athletes to be able, and you're young too. You might not even know what you're good at. You just play one thing the whole time. You could be better if you play baseball. You could be better at basketball, or or you could run track. You know what I'm saying, or wrestling or whatever. You just never know. So you should be able to give yourself a chance to play different sports, and see what you're good at, and then also too give your body a rest from just doing one thing all the time.
I agree. I could not agree more, dude. Well, we've kind of worked up from semi start up through college a little bit. Let's talk about now, man. What do you have going on now? I know you're still working constantly day after day at your craft and your business. So tell me a little bit more about that because I feel like we have a lot of things in common at the moment.
Yeah. So leave college right 2018. Um, trying to get into a league somewhere, going to different camps. I had one, uh was it I don't can't remember if they call it I don't know if they call it a senior day, but they with the Lions. So they brought some guys in with the Lions. Or local, I think it was a local day. Maybe that's what they call it, a local day or something like that. But
Okay.
they had brought some guys. Yeah, they had brought some guys in with the Lions that didn't. I didn't end up making the team. And so at that point now, I'm just trying to get in somewhere. And then that's when the Fan Control Football League comes in 2021. Uh, there was a coach that I had seen at a previous camp that I went to. He said, "Hey, I'm going to be the head coach and the head guy of this league that's coming in. I want you to fly down to Houston." So it was the week of. He's like, "I want you to fly down to Houston and come to this workout. Go to the workout, bust everybody as usual, and then then they bring me into the FCF, and that happens. So after the FCF, I have been trying to, still trying to get in. Uh, oh shit, the FCF was 2021. So 2019 to go to 2020, pandemic happens. So 2020, I had workouts that I was supposed to have with the Tennessee Titans and the Detroit Lions. They were going to bring me in, but what was happening was COVID was so crazy. They were just going with guys that were that was already within the system of the NFL, so that was already circulating around the NFL, or guys that had drafted. So they weren't really bringing in any free agents at all, and that was like everywhere. So it's again, you never know what can happen, but it's crazy how stuff happens. Um, so that once that ended up happening, wasn't able to get a tryout with anybody after that. So then I had the fan control football thing, and then after that was still trying. I still have been trying to get in with people. I mean, even today. So the way I still work out, right? I still work out. I train. I don't train as crazy as I used to, just because one, there's nothing immediate for me, coming right now, and then two, my body's tired. Like again, I've been pushing my body to the max since I was a kid, right? So now I'm just doing maintenance work. Now my maintenance is still, levels above people, what usual people do. Even guys that are in full fledged playing form, it's I still train harder than a lot of those guys, just because that's just what I know. But I'm just not training as much. but I'm still in shape. So if somebody had to call me today and was like, "Hey, we need you to come in," I'd be able to play. It'd take me a little bit just to get back in, football form, but I
Mhm.
still train and I can still run and I can still jump and do all of that stuff. So yeah, I still train, like I'm going to play on Friday.
Yep.
So training, and then I got my clothing business, Beast Now, that I had started in 2019, after I was done with football. And that had been going, that has been going well. Starting the business from ground up. So, it's a learning process. It's a learning process. You learn how to do certain things. You learn how to not do certain things. And I'm still building on the company as well. So I've done to consumer, and then I also do to business as well. I get people to ask me to make clothes for them. Um, I got a couple schools that I'm in that I've done work for. I did a school down in Georgia. I did a couple schools up here, and then I got a couple other, businesses that I do clothes for. Um, and then I also have a couple other businesses as well that I'm working on and partner with. But that's what I'm doing now is just working. I still stay up 2, 3, 4 in the morning if I have to. I get a lot of my custom stuff is from China, so the time difference. So I'm up again, like I said, sometimes from 2 to 6. Talking to them, trying to get orders in, orders figured out and stuff. I just got a shipment in today, for some businesses, for some samples for some businesses. So yeah, we still building on that, but it's entrepreneurship. Hey,
Yeah.
I tried getting a job and whatnot, but it's crazy. I graduated, uh, a bachelor's degree, and I when nobody hired me, so I had to figure it out. And so yeah, started a couple businesses, and we're still building. I'm still learning industries, but it's going well.
Good, man. Is Beast Now primarily lifestyle, or is it more like workout fitness apparel?
So it's more workout fitness apparel, but the way that I approach it is, I want my stuff. So I do have my hardcore workout apparel, but then I have some things that people that non-athletes or non-workout people can wear, right? Like my auntie
Hmm.
just bought a tracksuit for me, that, and she doesn't work out, right? She doesn't work out. She's just regular, a regular person that just likes stuff, just likes the look of it. So
Yep.
the way I approach it is, yes, I have my hardcore workout stuff, but I also want my other clothes to be things that a person walking down the street will say, hey, okay, what is that? Or I like that, I would like to wear that, or just a regular Joe Smo person I would love to wear because it looks good. I wore some of my tracksuits and some of my stuff to the bar, and people ask me. First of all, I got in, and then people ask me, what is that, or I've never seen that before, this, that, and the third. So my approach is, yes, hardcore workout stuff, but my regular clothes, my regular everyday clothes, I want for not just the workout person, but for the regular human being, or the non-athlete to want to wear it as well.
Yeah, I want to go back to something you said, like you're up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning making phone calls, doing deals with people in different countries.
Uh-huh.
Early mornings, late nights. That's what separates people from success and not like period. And a lot of
Yeah,
people, they think that they come up with an idea and it's all fine and dandy until like the real work starts
yeah,
becoming reality, and then that dream goes to die.
yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen that too, because like my company is 2 years old, like exactly. Yesterday was two, and there's been times where it's like, man, I thought it would go this way, but it hasn't. And you can either keep going or you can fucking quit.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, there's really only two options. Like this can be a pipe dream, or you can just keep grinding. And like
yeah,
if you do the right thing consistently over a long period of time, eventually the cards are going to fall your way. And I've always been big on that. And I think that
mm,
if you don't look at things that way and you think that you're just wasting your time by working all these hours, well, then you definitely ain't going to catch that break. But if you have
yeah,
that right mindset, that break comes and you can see it too. And it
yeah,
means more when it does come. Do you feel that?
yeah. So two things. Yes, I agree. Two things to that. Um, Going back to what we've been talking about this whole podcast of working hard.
Mm.
Um, and playing and sports has a huge role in that.
Yeah.
Sports has a huge role in that, right? Because we had to be disciplined to be able to do the stuff that we did, right?
Facts.
Going around to different schools. I forgot to mention our personal train too, but
Oh, well,
and
I I had that on my notebook, brother. I had it.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about that, bro. There's so much stuff going on, but yeah. So it's just the personal training stuff. Going around to different schools and training different athletes. Chelsea is blessed to have AT as far as his knowledge of what he has going on and the discipline. Because I mean, shoot, what were we doing? 7 in the morning? It was like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
At
workouts.
least, yeah, at least.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So that when I'm saying that stuff there, and we didn't know it at the time. At least I didn't know it. It's building us for these times now, right? So we it's discipline, right? It's discipline of just getting up every morning. Look. I didn't want to be there every day. I didn't, but we had to. We got up. We got it done. We so yeah, we got to work doing that day in and day out. We're building something, right? And that something is a better version of ourselves. And so knowing and learning that discipline gives us honestly an advantage over the non-athlete of today, right? So you get a lot of people, which goes back to, you're either going to get it done or you're not, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
goes back to a lot of other people where they may fall short of achieving their goal of being an entrepreneur, and it's because they may never had to get pushed to their limit before. You know what I'm saying? They may never have to push through their limit or have to push through something that was real hard. And they may just say, look, man, like you said, this stuff ain't working, so I'm going to give up. And we've been pushed through that limit. I've been told that sports or football specifically, is a game of life, right? You learn a lot of life skills in football. And so we've had to, overcome adversity, push through certain things. And again, that transfers over to, the lifestyle stuff, right? Having our own company, being able to push through, like you said, stuff, you're either going to get through it or you're not. Stuff that doesn't go your way. And again, that gives us an advantage to be able to get successful and continue to grow our companies to, wherever the hell we want to grow.
It's wild that you brought that up, dude, because I've said it countless times. Like I had AT on like a couple months ago,
Hmm.
and we were just bullshitting, and it's like when you have that instilled in you, like, hey, you got to be here at 6 7 a.m. or else kind of thing. And not only are you there, but like if you don't put out, it's gonna be an extra long morning for you too, because that
Yeah,
shit's gonna get seen. Like you ain't gonna
yeah,
slack off and get away with it. At least how
yeah.
we went through school. But that for me, without that, dude, I don't know where I'd be because I took that from high school and I just ran with that. Like I never
Mhm.
fucking lost it. I ran through it. I ran with it in college. I ran with it when I got out of college. I got my shit done this morning, obviously. Like it's just a part of my life and that daily like, hey, I don't want to do this, but I have to. And no one's telling me I got to do it anymore besides me. And
Yeah,
that still holds an incredible amount of weight.
yeah.
So and back to like the personal training shit, like I tell people all the time because I do the same thing. It's like, man, I know you're struggling right now, but once we get you back on track, you never have to get in shape again if you stay in relatively good shape.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
sucks getting in shape if
yeah,
you have like an injury or you get hurt and you start eating terrible and then
yeah.
you get healthy and then you're back to the grind, man. Like starting from ground zero is a long rip. So if you stay in
So,
relatively a decent spot, you'll be all right.
so to be honest with you, besides the I could get a call at any time, possibly, to play again. That was the other reason, right? Because now you start questioning yourself, why am I even, I mean, shit, I've been in shape and still question myself, why am I doing this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the workouts were so hard. So that's another reason. I don't want to fully fall out of shape to the point now it's like, man, look, I am struggling and I don't want to do
Yep.
this anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, if you stay ready, you're or stay relatively close to where you want to be at, it's way easier to come back to your your regular self or your top self versus trying to start over. And yeah, the shit sucks. It sucks when you got to build from ground up. But once you learn that discipline, um, once you learn that discipline of being able to show up every day, even like again, like we talked about, you don't want to do it. You learn that discipline. Now, you might see other areas of your life start to rise as well. So it might be, I don't know, well, obviously eating better, but then you might be more productive in your day.
Mm,
Um, you might start writing stuff down on the list. You might get more things done. Shit, you might even say, I don't even want to do a 9 to 5 anymore. I might just go start my own business, right? Because
yep.
I see myself and what I can offer now, and you start to realize, hey, I can be more than what I am now, and now I can go off and do my own thing, or something like that. So yeah, working out for people can make them realize a whole lot.
Yeah,
It could
no,
be, I mean, it's a life change.
it is, man, because it just feeds into the next thing. It feeds into the next hobby. It feeds into your day to day, and especially with what you and I do nowadays. Like obviously, I'm not getting no call to potentially try out for an NFL team anytime soon, but you potentially could. And plus, you coach guys, man. So imagine trying to sign a client or however it is that you go about your business, and they show up to your place or wherever it is that you train them, and hey, this is Coach Berkley and he's 40 pounds overweight, drinking a fucking Coca. Like, it's just a
Yeah,
bad look. So, how
yeah,
you supposed to, like, that's your name and image in your business. So, if you
hmm
can't even, like, that's respecting yourself in that company. So, if you have a client show up and you're looking sloppy as all get out, I bet you they ain't coming back for a second training session because they're like,
no,
man, what? They're not motivated. They were like, man, I want to look like Berkeley or, man, am I making
yeah,
sense right now?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're making a whole lot of sense. So yeah, and it's funny how I do in my personal training business is, well, I started because, again, I couldn't find a job. So
Mm,
I knew the personal training side because when I would come home, it got to a point where I could just train myself. I didn't have to have my dad as my coach anymore. So I kind of knew what was going on. And so when I started personal training, I was just trying to land anybody I could, but
yep.
it ended up, gravitating towards athletes. And so now it's to the point now where I only have, a select few people. I'm not out on, I don't really, well, first of all, I'm not really on social media like that anyways now, but I'm not out there trying to get everybody under the sun because one, is not going to work out. And two, the way that I train, it's to push you to your limits because you need to know what your limits are, but it's not intentionally to push you for my ego's sake, right? Like I've done this already and I've done it way harder than you have. And I also can get out here and do it if need be. But it's it's hard and it's not for everybody. So I have a select few clients that I do, and then sometimes I turn people away too. Sometimes I turn people away because look, it's not gonna be a good fit. Like
It
this is
has to be a
not.
good. It has to be a good fit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
This is not come over here and let's get on social media and post.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that work. I mean, that's not bad, right? You can say you getting that work in, but at the end of the day, you got to come over here and be locked in and focus on what you got going on. And then after the workout, do what you want to do, right? But when we come over here, we locking in and we getting this work in, bro. It's not
Mm.
we all on our phones and we laughing. I mean, you can laugh a little bit, right? But most of the time, people don't laugh because they tired of shit.
It's it's a business, man.
So
We're working
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Listen, Burke, I want to be respectful of your time, brother, but I got one last thing for you, which might turn into
Uh,
a couple more. I don't know, but I wanted to
that's
pick your
cool.
brain about this because you're a former college athlete and shit. What do you think about these crazy ass NIL deals that are going around the country, man? Have you seen the numbers on
Um,
some of these guys?
yeah, I was born too early.
Dude, right.
Yeah, I was born too early. So it's actually crazy. Um, I've done a couple college papers on this stuff, dog. Like it's
Have you?
ridiculous. Yeah, I've done. Actually, I think I did one in high school and one in college as well. Why college athletes should get paid, bro? It's
Yeah.
crazy. But when I was a freshman in college, they told me, they said, look, probably by the time you're a junior or senior, you guys could be getting paid. And then that NCAA lawsuit happened where guys, the name, image, and likeness on the NCAA lawsuit, they ended up getting a check from it. I got a check too for being on NCAA 14. So I got a small check, but it didn't ended up happening. I didn't think guys didn't start getting paid until was it 2021 or was it
It
22?
it hadn't been more than a couple years.
Yeah. So,
This might be the second year.
look, yeah, I mean, look, to be honest with you, I mean, we all knew the money. We all knew the money was there, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we know the TV deals that these schools are landing. I mean, these schools are making hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're making the name off of all the jerseys that you're selling. You don't get a piece, well, now you do, right? But you didn't get a piece of that. Um, what about nobody thinks about this? What about the business deals that's taking place in those suites? You
Mm-hmm.
know, but you're bringing those people to the game. You don't get a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? So I love to answer your question. I love the NIL deals. I always thought athletes should get paid, because schools are school. First of all, school is a business, right? College is a business, and the schools are based off the college revenue. I mean, the sports revenue. That's schools are based off the revenue that the sports is bringing in. So if the schools that don't have big sports aren't big schools most of the time. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
No facts.
the larger the sports or the larger the sports program is usually the bigger school. So I think athletes should be getting paid and look, get all the money that you can. Get all the money that you can because you never know you never know what can happen, right? You get hurt, uh, you know, I don't know. But the main thing is you can get hurt or career ending injury or something. So get your money while you can now. Be smart, invest it early, and then shoot. Look, if you get to the next level, if you get to the NFL or next level, whatever sport you play, right, NBA or pro golf, whatever it is, congrats. And now you got more money coming in. But get your money now. Get your money now. And I think they got NIL coming for high school too soon. They already have it in California, I think Texas, but I think Michigan is sitting and they're trying to decide on the board now if they're going to have high school NILs as well in Michigan.
I did not know that. That's interesting. But it's
Yeah.
totally changing the game, isn't it? Because like you got guys, and this is I think Shador might be maybe the highest paid athlete in the country
Mhm.
at like four something. I just read a thing the other day on it. But
Mhm.
I mean, when you're bringing in that type of money, he ain't gonna be the first quarterback out of the draft this year. So I know he wants to go number one. It's like
Mhm.
just kick it again one more
Yeah.
year in Boulder. You guys are gonna have
Yeah.
a better team because Dion's gonna get his recruits in, and
Yeah.
then you just keep making money. Like you're not
Yeah.
losing a fucking penny. I don't think. At least when you're in
Yeah.
that type
Not,
of
but
position.
well, yeah. So quarterback is different, but
Yeah,
again, again, for some people, they should probably leave if your ultimate goal is to still get to that highest level,
yeah,
and you're doing what you need to do. I think you should leave. Me personally, like, okay, cool. Look, look, unless you're getting paid $1 million plus, but
yeah.
again, I mean, if the goal is to get drafted and get to that highest level, you should get out of there. You should
Facts.
get out of there because what you can come back to college if you're really that guy, and you can come back and make money, right? Do autograph signings, do different stuff, right? That's always going to be there. That's always going to be there. So I would say, go to the league now. For Shador, it's again why college athletes should get paid. Yes, prime. Yes, it's Dion, right? He's the main. He's the main focus. But the way he's playing right now, and who else? Who is all benefiting? The city, right? The city is benefiting. Again, the college is benefiting. He should be getting paid. The way
Yep.
he's playing, Dion can only do so much as a coach to get these celebrities and stuff to come. If Colorado was losing or they were just getting blew back every game, okay, ain't too many people gonna be showing up. But the fact that these players are playing the way they are in Colorado is why they should be getting paid. Because now local businesses are benefiting. More
Yes.
people, the enrollment now, everybody wants to be a part of it, right? Even the enrollment is going up. So that's why these kids should be getting paid.
Well, I agree. Well said, man.
Uh,
Listen, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was fun. Real fun. I
yeah,
really enjoyed this.
definitely, man. It's good to see you. Good talking to you. I appreciate you having me on.
All, all day, man. Me too. Listen, stay on the line with small talk for a second. I'll get you out of here.
All right.